Disclaimer. This video was made for StarBreak beginners/new players to help them gather information about Star Cathedral and learn its unique mechanics. If you are a StarBreak veteran, you probably won't find anything new here. Yet, I recommend watching this video just in case you are missing something or just out of pure interest. Or because you love my videos. Creating such videos, or I'd even call them projects, requires insane effort and time. So I want you guys to show that you appreciate it. Put these damn thumb ups, comment, and sub if you haven't. This will help a lot to popularize the video and will keep my motivation to continue making StarBreak related videos. And before the actual detailed guide starts, I'd like to answer 3 most frequently asked questions by beginners about Star Cathedral. First one is: what, when, and where is Star Cathedral? Star Cathedral, or a shorter name SC, is the only Tier 5 location in the game. Its entrance located right next to Eschaton's item shop. SC has unique opening mechanic. It opens only when all K crystals are fully filled. That's why SC is more like an event rather than a regular dungeon. Second one is: what can you get in Star Cathedral? SC is the only source of Tier 5 stats in the whole game. Not long ago, Deuce also added UC, premium previously currency, as a drop too. Due to the fact that monsters respawn with time, farming stats and UC becomes easier, and if you find good spot, you can pretty much max out without any problems. You can use dropped UC to buy visuals or upgrade your personal home by buying additional vaults and shell stashes. Needless to say that since it's the only Tier 5 location in a game, it obviously has the most valuable rewards for beating it. Technically, SC items are insane. I'd even say that they are breaking game balance. Ionics, Frenzies, Overloads, these items are OP tier gears. If you manage to get them on early or even medium stages of the game, your life will become a lot easier. You can get more info about SC items on the related wiki page. And the most popular one: if I just started playing, do I need to care about Star Cathedral? Or is Star Cathedral really necessary for beginners? Everything in this life comes with a risk. The faster you'll start joining Star Cathedrals, the faster you'll get used to monsters' attack and location in general. But you need to be able to differ complete suicide from worth a try moment. Surely equipment thresholds are very different for beginners and experienced players. Experienced players can complete Star Cathedral with a stock shell, when some beginners are struggling to complete it with a Mark 5 build shell. Personally, I wouldn't recommend joining Star Cathedral until you get at least Mark 3 shell with a mobility item. For Wildfire and Duskling it's barrels, for Ironclad and Fab it's boosters. Honestly, Fab as an exception can have only +1 simultaneous macron. But remember that survivability isn't built only by mobility. Most of Star Cathedral monsters have big numbers of base damage, so having big armor is very reasonable, since you'll be taking hits a lot until you get used to monsters. So my answer is yes, if you pass these demands, definitely worth a try. But don't expect yourself to succeed on first try. Depending on your background skills and knowledge, it can take up to 5 or even more tries before you actually manage to beat it. There's also some special tactic, or I'd even call it strategy: everything or nothing. You stay in lobby waiting for all gens to be done by others, to guarantee that you'll join boss with full HP. Surely if you die in boss, you pretty much lost everything and didn't get anything in return. But yet, boss loot usually is the most valuable loot at all, so losing some stats, UC and other stuff to increase chances of beating boss sometimes is a wise move. So yeah, now moving to actual video guide. As mentioned earlier, SC opens when all K crystals are fully filled. Summary 8800 Ks. After all K crystals being filled, SC opens for exactly 20 minutes. Each SC portal has 40 player slots. After 40 slots are filled, next portal opens. Note that you can join Star Cathedral only once per unique opening. You won't be able to safely come out and join again in same Star Cathedral. SC is a timed location. This is made to prevent people from infinitely farming QC and stats. Right after first player enters a portal, time starts to expire. SC gives 24 minutes to get rid of all 4 generators. Killing each generator but last gives additional 2 minutes to the timer. Killing last makes group enter boss stage after a short period of preparation time. If group doesn't manage to kill all generators in time, portal starts firing sequence. It teleports all players to Eschaton after a short period of time, basically a fail. Note that each portal have its unique layout and usually have nothing similar with previous ones. This way we can say that each Star Cathedral is different, unique dungeon each time. The only things that don't change are monsters, mini-bosses and some other stuff. Oh, also there are some interesting interaction of mechanics. Simple example of it is something that people call solo portal. I'll try my best to explain why this happens. Imagine a Star Cathedral portal. Some players joined it but ain't filled it fully. Let's name these guys main group. Surely they won't just stay and wait like a bunch of idiots and successfully kill all generators before portal is filled with players and before time of SC being open expires. After that, main group will be teleported to boss room. And here is an interaction. It would be unfair if people who join portal at the time just TP to main group, because you could have abused that to join late as possible up to last stage of the boss. So players that join portal after main group is already in boss will be teleported to completely different boss room, starting from boss beginning. That's the exact reason why people name this solo portal. And the thing is that each new player that joined will be spawned in new boss, making it a true solo no matter what. And here is a question for you all. What happens when main group already defeated boss and you enter this portal? And that's another but a lot more rare due to time limits interaction named glitched portal. Not gonna lie, I remember it happening only twice in my whole StarBreak experience. All I'll say later will be the things I remember from this one time I happened to be in it. Players spawn in same layouted portal as main group was, but generator panel says that all gens are already done, even though they are alive. Portal is completely the same, yet boss drops different loot, which might be an answer to question does loot generates on boss kill or it's pre-generated. As long as I know, nobody was able to get further than glitched portal, but I think that it will just repeat the cycle. Anybody will pick up a challenge to test this out? Hopefully I didn't forget anything really valuable. If I did, make sure to tell it in the comments, since we are entering Star Cathedral Insights part now. This part will be separated for 3 pieces, in terms of convenience. We'll talk about them in this order: monsters, layout, and boss. I'd like to mention that some monsters are much common compared to others. At the same time, some of them naturally can spawn only in special locations. So I'll separate monsters for 4 categories. First one, common enemies. These enemies are really common and you'll see them a lot each Star Cathedral. Second one, uncommon enemies. This group of monsters, unlike previous, is a bit more rare to see. Third one, unique enemies. Monsters from this group spawn only in certain locations. And finally, fourth one, free movement blockers, for example trap wall. I'd also like to remind about armor system, so we won't ask stupid questions like what does base damage of monster mean? So, doesn't matter how many armor you have. Damage source can't deal less than 40% of base damage. That's called the minimal damage from this source. Let's take as an example 35 base damage source. Skeletons, lasers from Dumplings, ghosts have such base damage. 40% of 35 is 14, so 14 is a minimal damage from this source. Now how to calculate how much damage you'll take from this source with exact armor. Remember, each 4 armor gives 1 damage reduction, and first armor after these 4 gives so 2. Like 4 will block just 1, but 5 armor will block 2, and 9 armor will block 3. And here's when mass comes in handy. To make 35 base damage source deal minimal damage, you need to have at least 81 armor. For example, according to Wiki, maximum possible in general armor for Wildfire is exactly 80. Now back to our topic. Monsters from first group are laser dumplings and skeletons. I guess nobody will argue that these mobs are basically everywhere in Star Cathedral. Each skeleton, regardless of type, has 1000 HP and 35 base damage. Base damage is the same for the attack and for on touch. Can jump if needed to reach the player, and usually behave very aggressive. So far, there are two types of skeletons. First one is equipped with a spear, and is better in horizontal attacks. Second one is equipped with an axe, and is better in vertical attacks. Laser dumplings. There are two types of this enemy, but both variations have same attacks and same base damage of 35 and 50% armor. Grounded dumpling is bigger in size, has more HP in return, 3000 to be exact. Usually they spawn at platforms, which don't allow them to leave the position, but sometimes they are freely roaming around the floor. Well known for long ranged attack named Laser Beam. Preparation time for this attack is about half a second, and laser lasts for about 1.5 seconds. Usually spawn in small or medium groups. This helps them to defend a lot, since laser isn't just an attack you dodge and it's gone. Laser lasts for a time, which means it's a zoning tool too. Second variation of this monster is Flying Dumpling. He is smaller, has 2000 HP. They are less common than previous one. In return of lower survivability, these monsters are more mobile. They are not ashamed of changing position after shooting laser beam. Note that pings are not dealing damage on touch. Monsters from second group are Ghosts, BallThrowers and Shielders. There are 5 types of ghosts. Naturally, they are spawned by a ghost trap. Trap spawns them in medium groups, up to 7. Some chest rooms also have them as guardians. Base damage of all ghosts is 35, and 4 out of 5 types have same HP of 750. First type is Melee Ghost, completely melee enemy. Can increase speed while diving to you, basically dashing. Always tries to take higher vertical position than player has. After taking vertical lead, Ghost dashes into player from above. Second type is Shooter Ghost, ranged enemy. Shoots as a shotgun. Cooldown of attack is about 3 seconds. Always tries to keep distance, even though trigger range for his attack isn't very big. Very dangerous enemy. If his bullets hit walls, they explode. This explosion creates some post-effect damage dealing areas that last for about 3 seconds. Third type is Bombardier Ghost. He behaves just as melee Ghost does, but instead of dashing he shoots bombs. Bombs attach to floor on contact and continue moving in same direction they were moving. This ghost is more a zoning ghost rather than an attacker. Fourth type is Mage, Spawner, Teleportation. Call him whatever you like, Ghost. These monsters are teleportated. They pick a place nearby the player and teleport there. After teleportation, they spawn green clouds around in circles. If you keep your position, you'll see that they are changing side each time. Also more a zoning enemy rather than an attacker. Fifth type is Tank Ghost. Obviously from the name, his main purpose is to be big shit blocking your further way. Has 2000 HP and 50% armor. His behavior reminds of skeletons, but he is way slower than them. Jump system also reminds skeletons, but less aggressive one. BallThrowers have 5000 HP and 50% armor. Also deal 35 base damage on contact. Has 2 types of ranged attacks. Each ranged attack has own base damage. First type of attack is throwing a ball. Whoever would have guessed that BallThrower actually throws balls? He can throw balls in two different ways. First is just along the ground. Second is band throw, or whatever this is called with English. Ball has 50 base damage and is blockable. It's considered as wall, so you can't dash through or blink through. Another ranged attack is him doing high jump and creating shock waves on land. Note that shock waves are created in both directions. They are unblockable and have just 40 base damage. Shielder has 3000 HP and 30 base damage. It's a flying in circles monster surrounded by own bullets as a shield. Has 3 different ranged attacks. First one is a suppressive fire. He shoots queue of bullets around your position when you trigger him. Second is concentrated fire. He shoots all bullets right at your position. And third and final one is a round fire. He shoots bullets all sides around him. Third group consists of arms, meatballs, platform movers, enraged BallThrowers, and other unique monsters we'll talk about later on. Fourth group has more like threats in it rather than enemies in regular meaning. These enemies are common in regular locations while exploring the dungeon. There are 3 clear movement blocker threats. For example, trap walls, ghost traps, and restless souls. Let's start with most obvious representative of this group, trap wall. Trap wall is a wall which triggers when players are located nearby, can spawn up to 3 in a row. Point of it is to trap rushing ahead players and to force them to fight with monsters. It has minimal killing time, so even if you deal more than enough damage, you won't be able to surpass it very fast. If you see that you won't be able to surpass it in time, you better stop and deal with mobs that are triggered, because risking being caged in tight space is very dangerous. Wall has only 5000 HP, but can't be killed faster than around 15 seconds after a wall reaches the floor. Ghost traps are static traps that activate when player is nearby. As mentioned earlier, spawn group of ghosts if you get in trigger range. After ghosts are defeated, it takes 120 seconds till trap restock. Restless souls are an analog for trap walls, but less harmful for players. They have 75 HP, 20 base damage and spawn infinitely. Due to infinite spawn, they are not leechable. I mean, if you are using Duskwing, you won't be able to leech HP from them. This was nerfed a good while ago. After entering, players spawn in fully safe from enemy's room. People call it lobby or main. Friendly reminder, this room is completely safe from enemies, but not from the trolls in your group. Make sure to don't AFK at these flying platforms. Due to the server ping, you can be skipped from them by Fabricator. Lobby has 4 ways you can go: top left, top right and bot right. Usually, group checks each way before choosing which one to explore, because MidBosses can spawn just after lobby. We'll talk about MidBosses later on. Don't be fooled by the fact that there are just 4 ways from the lobby. Each way diverges into more. Remembering all of them becomes a real problem really fast, so Cathedral is a big labyrinth. If you can't navigate, you'll end up running out of time, which leads to firing sequence. Locations usually are long corridors filled with swarms of monsters. There are 2 special, unique locations you need to know about. It's a 4-ways location. First one is called Statue, because it has big statue located in center of the room. Second one has not official mid-boss in center, lurking free roaming from side to the side. Even so, he doesn't respawn this time. He is hated for his bullet hell attacks and big HP pool. This monster looks very familiar to the generator, so people call him Enraged Generator. He has 60,000 HP. All attacks from him or his summons have 15 base damage. Can spawn summons that have 300 HP and don't deal damage on touch. Summons usually fly around him in circles and periodically shoot bullets to the center. He is also capable of shooting fully unblockable slow-moving bullets. Regardless on the side, Fabs can place Mangos/Scorps to safely hit him from big distance. Check out these videos if you are interested in Fab rushing Star Cathedral. You might learn some additional Fab techniques there. As always, links are in the description. Best strategy for a wildfire is to stay on the nearest middle platform to him. This way, you'll maximize damage output and will be in safe zone for most of his attacks. Might require some practice to remember bullets' trajectories and get used to close fight dodging. Check out this video if you are interested in wildfire rushing Star Cathedral. And for Ironclad, I'll be honest, I kinda disrespect this shell. The only thing I can is to recommend watching this video if you are interested in Ironclad rushing Star Cathedral. Now let's talk about unique locations and their monsters. There are 3 really unique locations, 3 different mazes. They all are different, but have some similarities, especially first 2 of them. Note that monsters there spawn infinitely, and you need to pass locations through all the monsters and other factors blocking your way. First one is a small corridor with moving meatballs blocking your further way. Note that meatballs stop their movement only when they hit the wall. After the hit, they choose different direction to move. Monsters in each maze respawn really quick, so don't waste time killing all of them. Rush to the end of the maze as fast as possible. Meatballs are considered as walls, so you won't be able to dash through or blink through them in any way. Meatball has 1000 HP and 30 base damage. If you are not capable of killing meatballs solo really fast, it's in your best interest to follow the group. It's best to stay exactly in the center of it, not too far ahead and not too far behind. If you got stuck in this room and you aren't capable of killing meatballs solo, it's just a matter of time when you are going to die. Instantly homing might save you some nerves and a shell. Second one is very similar to first, but instead of meatballs it has arms monsters. These monsters have only 100 HP and 20 base damage. But don't be fooled by low HP. Due to small size and extreme mobility combined with aggressiveness, these mobs are hated by many players. Usually monsters come in groups and jump to you as long as you are in range. The further you go, the more you'll end up fighting. And since they respawn with time, once you leave at least one spawner behind you, you'll need to fight back in 2 sides. Same strategy here. Follow the group, stay in the center. Third one is a big room filled with small platforms mixed with damaging ones. Enemies here are capable of transporting platforms. Monsters have just 200 HP, but regardless on low HP, they can easily make your life a pain by swarming you off guard in the middle of the room. Monsters and damaging platforms have 20 base damage. Best strategy here is to get up to the top of the location, since there will be the least amount of monsters. Not sure that anybody will need this info, but this maze has a floor, which has 30 base damage. Passing location at bottom is also an option. Since monsters aren't considered as walls, Dumplings can pass location even without getting on top. Yet, getting on top is preferable if you aren't sure in your dashing skills. Chest rooms can be entered just after lobby and usually are some sort of a challenge where you defeat monsters and get regular loot chest as a prize for defeating them. There are 6 possible chest rooms. Note that chest rooms are related on side of a door you enter. There are 3 left-sided and 3 right-sided chest rooms. Left-sided can be entered only by left-sided door, and right-sided can be entered only by right-sided door. I'll also use these terms to describe mid-bosses, since they are also related on side of a door you enter. Starting with all left-sided. First one, I guess the easiest chest room in general. It's a laser dumpling staying above middle of the room surrounded by 3 ghost bombardiers. Dumpling drops chest after death. 2 lines of platforms helps to get to the dumpling while also helping bombardiers to spread their bombs. Second and third are very similar. Both are technically long corridors filled with skeletons. Both have enraged BallThrowers at the end, which drop chest after death. Second has platforms and tentacle floor that has 30 base damage. As mentioned earlier, room is filled with groups of skeletons. Here is some interesting fact. If you are playing Dustwing, you can kill Enraged BallThrower here with ranged bow completely out of his trigger range. Third doesn't have regular platforms. They are spawning at the right corner and always moving to the left. Skeletons are waiting for you to come in trigger range on top of the pillars. There are just 3 groups of skeletons in return of additional difficulty because of platforms. Now about right-sided. First one is groups of ghost tanks on 2 different levels and an enraged BallThrower on 3rd level. Definitely the easiest right-sided chest. Second is strengths looking like. I'd say it's basically strengths but with Cathedral monsters. BallThrowers are blocking your further way, usually supported by single ghost bombardiers or shooters. Enraged BallThrower is located at the very end. If you are playing Dustwing, you can safely hit him from the previous platform with ground attacks, but only when he stays at the very end of his platform. Third, the most hated one. Very big vertical location with laser dumplings controlling you at the walls. And there are 2 strategies to beat it. First is long but safe. You slowly clear all dumplings from side to the side. Second is fast but dangerous. You rush to the chest, dropping dumpling at top of the location. Kill it fastly and then drop down. I wouldn't recommend second strategy for beginners. Surely you don't need to clean every enemy in the chest room to get the chest. You just need to kill the enemy who is dropping the chest after death. In most scenarios, it's the furthest monster, Enraged BallThrower or Laser Dumpling in 2 cases. Chest rooms can drop up to prototype quality regular SC loot, yet in most cases aren't worth your time. MidBosses, technically protectors of generators or just gens. We are forced to fight them if we want to proceed to the boss. There are 3 MidBosses and 1 challenge protecting gens. Naming all of them at first. Left-sided are Jump Challenge and Hive. Right-sided BoneSaws or Bones and Patriarch or Pat Duelist. Jump Challenge. That's a big vertical room which has spinning platforms mixed with damaging ones. You must get up to activate trigger which will open the gens door. Hive. Hive is a big monster located above center of the room. Has 20,000 HP each stage, 4 timed stages with mentioned earlier HP. Recently Hive was buffed, which made my previous clips of him obsolete. Minimal time for each stage is about 15 seconds, which means you won't be able to kill Hive faster than 60 seconds no matter how much damage you've dealt in process. Created a cool animation so you guys would understand new bullet mechanic in no time. Hive shoots seeking bullets from both sides. These bullets have 20 base damage. When bullet hits wall object, it explodes into 2 more bullets, which head in opposite from main bullet's side. The angle between these shards is 45 degrees. Once a shard reaches wall object, it explodes, creating a post-effect explosion, just as shooter ghost bullets. Fun fact: mechanic used to have 3 shards, additional one in the middle, but was nerfed after Hive wrecked everybody on the test server. Best strategy here is to take your time. Hurrying won't make any difference but only increase a danger level. Remember to avoid after effect explosions at all costs, since they deal twice as much as regular bullet does. Some guy mentioned OP strategy how to beat new Hive, but sadly I couldn't understand anything from just his words. I'll put a screenshot of his Reddit post somewhere on the screen. If this makes any sense to you, congrats, now you won't ever die in Hive again, at least from afterwards. BoneSaws. This mid-boss is two mid-bosses at the same time. Two skulls flying right next to levitating platforms. The longer fight goes, the less safe regular floor, walls and ceiling becomes. Both mid-bosses are shooting sticky to walls saws. These saws are attached to outline of the room and roaming around. Note that saws usually don't change moving direction, but if skull will cover it over, it will change it. Maybe it's a bug. Skulls and attached laser guns have 50% armor. Attached laser guns can also shoot regular bullets, 20 base damage, and cast laser beam, which is a complete copy of laser Dumplings 1. Best strategy here is to deal damage to both heads at the same time. Sharing the damage will make them die way faster, even so would require to switch sides frequently. There is also a video guide about this mid made by Diaz. It was made back in 2016, but still can be useful for some of you. I recommend at least checking it out, because why not to? Patriarch or Pet. This mid-boss plays only fair games, 1 vs 1 solo mid. Technically, he chooses one person from group of players who joined location and won't stop fighting until a person somehow leaves the location, for example by dying or homing, or until Patriarch is dead. If the person has left location and Patriarch still isn't dead, he repeats the process from the beginning, chooses another person from a pool. Note that Patriarch isn't healing HP at a cycle reset. This means that if a person have dealt any damage to Patriarch, he still will be wounded for that amount of damage at the beginning of the next fight. Has 5000 HP and no minimal killing time. All attacks have 30 base damage. In the recent-ish update, Pat was slightly upgraded to prevent stalling. Over time, Pat increases base damage, speed and amount of attacks. Plus, now you can get over standing platform. His warn in the chat about that time isn't your friend in this fight marks a new scaling level. So far I found that he scales each minute and each warn or scale level increases base damage of everything by 10. Warnings slightly increase the speed of all attacks and quantity of some projectiles being shot. Useful fact about this mid. Due to the fact that you have some time until he chooses you, even if you are alone in the room. As a FAP, you can place mangoes or scorps in such way that they will instantly hit him once they land, or as a wildfire, place mines just above him. He's my favorite mid, because he doesn't have a minimal killing timer, meaning you can do stuff like that with him. Finally moving to the boss. Boss name is Watcher. If you are familiar with StarBreak lore, you'll remember that it's exactly a thing which destroyed Earth eons ago. Makes sense to have it as a final boss, doesn't it? When all 4 generators are destroyed, Watcher warns in chat, "It was a mistake invading here, now you'll face me." After a short period of time, every player in this portal is teleported to the boss location room. Room itself is a very big location, around Eschaton's size, with one large platform on which you and others will spawn. And surely room has no regular floor, strength vibes. After first player spawns, boss will immediately start spawning unique monsters, flying squids. These monsters have 1500 HP and 20 base damage. Once triggered, they will try to follow player and periodically shoot comparatively slow bullets. Bullets have same base damage. Boss also periodically shoots same bullets as squids, no matter on stage. Boss himself is located in center of the room and almost static. He will manipulate this platform to make groups spin around him in cycles, clockwisely. Boss stages. First of all, he'll break this large platform into 2 medium ones, then separate sides. One will go to the left and second to the right of the boss. After that, boss will break these medium platforms to smaller platforms. There are a couple of possible sizes of these. His next step will be setting all platforms above him with random positioning. I mean, not in a straight line. After all or almost all platforms being set, he will start bombarding group from above with special bullets. I'd express them as ones that are affected by gravity. Once they lose their vertical acceleration, they will start accelerating in a different side, meaning they will come back, they have an arc trajectory. Next stages are chosen by random, but these starting 3 are always the same. After that, group will start moving clockwise in cycles around the boss, starting with right to the boss position. So yeah, I won't be talking about every possible layout of the boss, simply because it will take forever and isn't necessary for a guide. Instead, I'll just talk about each possible platform layout which you can face in the boss. Boss layout looks like that. Starting. 2 medium platforms on different sides. Small platforms on top. First RNG right-sided stage. Second RNG both-sided stage. Third RNG left-sided stage. Fourth RNG top-sided stage. Fifth RNG right-sided stage. Sixth second platform split. After second split, always happen a harder version of second always the same platform layout. 7th RNG right-sided stage, and usually after that, last stage. That's how the fastest and usual layout looks like, lasts around 7 minutes. But note that if you haven't dealt enough damage, you'll continue cycling until you deal enough to turn boss into the next stage. This means that each part of not consistent mentioned earlier can be extended. Platforms layout. Nova. When platforms are building in circles, that's what people call Nova. There could be more than one circle of platforms. I guess it's needless to mention that sizes also vary on time to time. After platforms are fully set, they start spinning. At this time, boss starts to bombard area around platforms with big explosion radius bullets. Note that these bullets are completely unblockable. Explosion has 20 base damage. Nova can be on every side of the boss. Left, right, bottom and top. If Nova happens to be on the bottom side of the boss, and if circle size is medium or even small, people call it SuperNova. SuperNova is the most hated stage. Pointless to describe why, right? Ladders or race. Platforms are building in ladders looking formation. After platforms are fully built, squid monsters start to spawn on random spots along the platforms. These small squid monsters have 15 base damage and 500 HP. Due to the lowest base damage possible, consider taking damage from them, rather from any other source. But be cautious, because these monsters will explode after some time passes. Note that explosion has 30 base damage, which is 2 times more than the monster itself. This platform formation can be on every side of the boss, left, right, bottom and top. Rotated T or just T, platform formation. Platforms are building in a rotated T formation on left or right side of the boss. After platforms are fully set, boss starts to shoot unique bullets that will come back to boss after some time passed. These bullets are blockable unlike Nova ones. There is an upgraded version of this formation that can happen only after second platform split. Upgraded version will also have small squids spawning on platforms, mentioned earlier on race platform formation. Layers. This is the most unique platform formation, because it happens only on bottom to the boss side. Platforms are building in some sort of layers beneath the boss. After all platforms are set, boss starts to shoot unique zoning bullets. These bullets are slowly falling under levels while staying for about 1 second on each new platform they reach. These bullets are also blockable. That's all the possible platform layouts, unless Wayfarer secretly hides some of them in his pocket. With that being said, we are done. Seriously. I'm glad for those who are still here. Must have been a good challenge to bear 30 minutes of my voice. And as last words, I want to wish you guys luck in your Star Cathedrals. Always remember that force is a key to everything.